Hello, I'm Gareth from WeCycle, and I'm going to talk today about SRAM's rival ETAP AXS Groupset. Long awaited, but it's starting to appear in shops on bikes, and the Groupsets are starting to drip into the country as well. Let's go through some of the information about the parts and talk about what's good and possibly not so good about having SRAM rival. On paper, the rival ETAP AXS Groupset has a lot to love about it. ETAP means it's electronic, and for the road, AXS, the AXS, is talking about the app that it links with. Now, on the app, you can do firmware updates, you can check the battery levels, and you can make some customizations, but realistically, most people aren't going to do those. The firmware updates and the battery level check is, however, a really useful addition. Now, one thing that SRAM have done is make sure that everything trickling from SRAM Red and SRAM Force is interchangeable. So the rival Groupset can be a complete bitzer. You can have a red cassette with a rival rear derailleur and force shifters, and it'll all still work. Now that's neat, because that means that if there's an element that's made purely for force, say a 1033 cassette, you can use that on your rival Groupset, even though it's not specifically a rival cassette. SRAM Rival continues in the 12-speed family from Force and Red, and all their cassettes start with 10 teeth. Now, for SRAM to be able to make that happen, it meant a whole new freehub body. So they are all on XDR drivers. This can mean complications with wheels, possibly, but well, of the drivers. But if you've got them, everything's interchangeable between Red, Force and Rival. Rival cassettes haven't arrived yet in the UK, but we have plenty of SRAM Force cassettes. Which can be used. As you can see, not technically a cassette, it is a one piece. This is a 1036, and 36 is the maximum teeth that the rival rear derailleur will accept. Usable on 1x and 2x systems. To be able to use it, like I said, you need the XDR driver, but also it has to be used with SRAM's flat top chain. These bits for replacements don't come in particularly cheap. Now, thinking with the gravel market in mind, the rear derailleur has a spring clutch in it, so it should make descents on rough terrain fairly quiet and avoid chain slap or chain jumping. Chain rings, SRAM have also got strange numbers. This is a 4835, and this is actually a power meter one. SRAM working with obviously their own brand Quarks to provide dual-sided power meters with Rival, making power meters more affordable as well. 4633 chain rings, really nice option for gravel riding. Pair that with a 1033 or 36 cassette, and really you can get a lot of places off-road, even with puny little legs like mine. Quite chunky, noticeably heavier than others in the hand, but then it does an awful lot, and it's at a really good price. SRAM work with individual batteries for each item. It's a red blanking plate, which if we remove that, we then put the battery on individually. And we're ready to go. Button for connecting everything together, and a light to indicate battery level, and also to show you what mode you're in and when you're talking and adjusting things. One of the benefits of the batteries being on individual items is they're all the same, which means that if the battery on your front derailleur runs out, because that has harder shifting to do, you might not use it as much, but it takes a lot more energy to move it up and down. If that runs out before the rear one, you can swap them over and use just the front if you need to use the rear battery to get you home It also, because they're only quite small, means you could carry a spare if you're going for a really long journey. The shifters, similar to the rear derailleur, are not a thing of beauty. They are, I would say, industrial in their appearance and their finish. But again, they work. They're fine. They're comfortable enough to hold. The braking is always superb with the SRAM ETAP products, and the paddle is a confident click. You can hear that. You definitely know when you've shifted. You can't just hear it, but you can definitely feel it. And you can feel it whether you've got gloves on in the winter or whether you're riding in the summer with just bare hands. The way SRAM shifts with these electric group sets is really intuitive. Left side for easier, right side for harder. Both to change the front. That's it. You can change that around. You could swap the sides over, you could change the functions if you really wanted to, but why would you bother? It's really straightforward. Easier, harder, both. No brainer. If you're ever servicing your bike and you need to change the front derailleur whilst it's in the stand, which you then have to pedal with your hands and press 2 paddles at the front at the same time, that can't happen unless you're an octopus. So there is a button on the front derailleur. Press that with one hand and that will change the front derailleur up or down. Easy. For the data nerds out there who love to pore over their numbers after a ride just as much as they enjoy riding the bike, the SRAM ETAP group sets all provide information that you want. The group set pairs neatly with your Garmin so you can see on the ride what gear you're in. Really useful feature when this is a new group set to you, because if you're in 33, it can feel a little bit strange on a road bike. So who would buy a SRAM Rival group set, or who wouldn't buy a SRAM Rival group set? It's got everything you need, pretty much. Price wise, it knocks the socks off everybody else. About £1,300 for a group set when they start becoming available, compared to a SRAM Force group set, which would be about 2,300, or the new Ultegra group set, which is 2,300 as well, roughly. So price wise, it definitely wins that battle. Weight wise, it doesn't. It's significantly heavier than Force and Ultegra, and certainly heavier than Red or Dura Ace. Appearance wise, it's not the neatest. It's not hideous, but it's not the prettiest. And if you're spending £5,000, £6,000, £7,000 on a road bike, looks do matter. When thinking about SRAM or Shimano, Rival, Force, Red, if you're thinking SRAM, you need to think about 1, your budget, and 2, what sort of ride you are and what is important to you. The large range of the SRAM cassettes, 10 to 36, is brilliant for some people. It means that they can still power on down the hills, and they've got a huge range up at the top for the climbs. They can keep on spinning. But think about that means the jumps between some of those are fairly significant, which means finding specific gear that you want on the majority of the use in the middle of the cassette is going to be less likely with SRAM than it is with Ultegra. Also, to make those bigger jumps, it has to be a slightly more agricultural shift, a bit more clunky, rather than a smooth, precise. Now that's fine, it still works, but it will be a bit slower. So if that speed of shifting and finding exactly the right gear in the middle of the cassette is important to you, you're probably looking at the Shimano range. If the wide range of options is more appealing to you and you don't mind sacrificing a bit of speed, then SRAM is an excellent offering. Also think about the sort of person you are in terms of maintaining everything. That front derailleur can, on the SRAM, be a little bit of a monkey to set up. So are you going to be able to do it? Or do you have a shop near you, workshop near you, or a mechanic that will be able to do it for you and get it bang on? The beauty of being able to interchange the batteries with the SRAM group set and being able to have spares is slightly counteracted by it's more things to charge. It's more things to have to pay attention to. And you only get one charger with the Groupset. You can buy extras, but it's an additional cost if you wanted to charge both batteries at the same time. Running out of battery whilst on a ride with your electronic gears is a mistake you usually only make once. In our opinion, the new SRAM Rival Groupset is an excellent way for people to enter the world of beep boop gearing. It is affordable, relatively, functional, and doesn't look dreadful, and it does what it's supposed to. There's lots of neat features to it. It isn't for everyone, it's not the right thing for everyone, I completely agree, and would love to know what you think about it. It is available now on Cervelo, Cannondale, Bianchi, BMC, many other brands, and the Groupsets are becoming available too. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe so you can get more things coming from us in the near future, and put some comments in below. Let us know what you think. Thanks very much.